Okay, I need to set this up. I don't know if this is even in focus and my life's a mess. I think maybe I should get closer to my face. Oh, that's really dark. That's really dark. Why does my skin look so weird? Focused? Okay, I think I need to move back. All right, so what's up, guys? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be sharing the story of Salted Road. What is Salted Road? How did I get to this point? How did I choose that name? How did I go from wanting a cafe to now doing a trailer and going the mobile route? Just the whole story up to this point, and it's just a long story, and the reason I want to make a video is because a lot of people ask me the story, but they ask me like in passing, like they're expecting me to share it in 30 seconds, and it's just not like that. So I decided to make the video, this video, and so if anyone is curious what the story is, then I could just be like, hey, I made a video about this. You might need to sit down and watch it. It's gonna be like not that long, like maybe 45 minutes long of a story. Just kidding. I'll try to keep it like 10 minutes maybe, we'll see. But this is gonna be me just sharing the story of how I got to this point. I'm blabbing. Okay, so let's just get into it. So the story started in like 7th grade. That was when I don't really remember like a specific moment of me wanting to do this, but I do remember back in junior high, I always thought that having a cafe would be a really cool thing to do. That would be really fun. I was really interested in like interior design. I like planning fun things for people and creating, sorry, my phone, and creating fun environments for people to come hang out in. Games, obviously coffee's good. Well, I didn't know that at that point I was in like 7th grade and I didn't drink coffee. I drank like double chocolate chip frappuccinos from Starbucks and I thought that was coffee. So that's what I was really interested in, all of that, just creating my own space where people can come and hang out and have fun. Love that. Okay, so high school goes on and that idea is just like always in my head. I still didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, obviously. Like still in the 20s, it's very popular for people to not know what they want to do, which is totally okay. I'm very blessed to know what I want to do, but it was a process to get to this point, but it's totally normal to like not exactly know what you want to do with your life yet. So hopefully also in this story, maybe it'll help you realize a little path that you could take just based on your interests and things that you like, and just a place to start to get you going in a career that you would love. So high school goes on, and I should have created some kind of outline for this, but I didn't, so sorry. I'm going to try to explain this as clear as I can. But I remember junior and senior year of high school, I felt a lot of pressure about knowing what I was going to do with the rest of my life. And I mean, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I felt like, which obviously it's not true, but I felt like all of my friends knew what they wanted to do. Like everyone is super interested in one thing. Like they want to be a doctor, they want to like be a dancer, they want to teach dance, they want to play in the professional sports or like whatever. I just felt like people all knew what they wanted to do, and I'm one of those people that I've never been really into one thing. I kind of just dip my foot in everything. Like I like to try everything, and I like a lot of things, but I don't love one thing. So trying to choose a career was really stressful, and college was coming up and I didn't know what I was going to do at that point. I'm like, what do I go to school for, and all this stuff, which I know is still everyone's struggle. It's a big deal to choose that, and they expect us to choose it at a very young age. So I remember one day, like I don't have the paper anymore, I wish I did, but I took out this piece of paper and I legitimately, which I would advise you doing this if you have no idea what direction you want to go in, and I just started writing down everything that I like to do. Everything that I liked and anything that I was passionate about and all that stuff. So it was stuff like I love creating a fun environment for people to come hang out in. I love talking to people. I love doing a hands-on job. I couldn't just sit in an office and type on a computer, so I knew I needed to be active all day long doing something. I like having fun with people, and I love helping people. So whatever I was going to do, I wanted that to be some kind of job that would be beneficial to other people in a way that I could impact the community. And so I was writing down all these things. It was like a whole list of paper, and I basically like grouped everything together into like, what could this be? What kind of career could this be? And it came back to like the cafe thing. Like, I want to create an environment for people to have fun, and if you work in a cafe, like you make coffee all day, you're busy doing that, or you're cleaning or whatever, or you're talking to people, like there's stuff to do all day. You're not just stuck in like an office. And with my own business, I would have the freedom to be able to donate money to the community and yada yada. So that idea kind of was replanted in my head, and I'm like, you know, that actually could be something that I do. But at that age, I was still pretty insecure. I mean, that's normal in high school, but I remember thinking like, that's a really good idea, but I'm not the business type. I'm not super into numbers and all of that stuff. Like, all the behind the scenes stuff of business was not my thing. Honestly, it's still not my thing, but it's just kind of inevitable. Like, I have to learn it. But that was the main thing that was kind of keeping me back. And there was a few people in my life at that time when I started to express like that dream, and back then I remember it being like a far off dream. I didn't really think that I was going to do it, which I am, which is really exciting, but I didn't really think I was going to do it at that point. And so it was just a nice little dream that I would tell people, and a few people that I was close with actually told me like, I don't see you doing that, you're not the business type. And I was like, you know, you're right, like I'm gonna have to choose something else. And so I kind of started to let go of the dream by the time I got to like senior year of high school, because I just felt so insecure about, I can't do that, like they don't see me doing that, and I don't think I can do that. That sounds like a lot of work, blah blah blah. So I'm just gonna go into some other career that I know I can do well, but I might not love as much. So I started to think about things I could go to school for, and people always told me that I would be a good counselor, because I was that person that everyone would come tell their problems to, and I would just listen to that, and I was good at it. I don't necessarily love it, but I knew I was good at it. And so at this point, also, this is a whole other thing, but I was going to do YWAM after high school, which, if you don't know what that is, it stands for Youth with a Mission. It's awesome. It's basically a 6-month volunteer program. You go and study the Bible and volunteer. That was awesome, but I had like this backup plan that when I got home from that, I was going to go to college for counseling, which I was really not excited for, because it wasn't what I wanted to do. It just was what I was told I would be good at. So I was like, okay, I'll just do that and make a decent living, maybe marry a guy that makes more money than I do. I don't know. I wasn't very excited about my future at that point. I was just settling for something I knew I could do. So, oh, and let me add, there's nothing wrong with counseling, obviously. Like, that's a great job. It's just not for me. Like, I would die if I was in an office all the time. The really cool thing that happened with me when I was in YWAM is, YWAM is super big on like people pursuing their dreams and believing that God gives everyone specific dreams that are unique to them. And God gives you passions, and he gives you desires that are unique to you, and there's a reason for that. Like, he wants you to pursue them. And of course, God wants to be part of our dreams. And so he's going to give you big dreams that seem impossible, because he wants to be a part of making them happen. And so there was one day where we were talking about all of our dreams and stuff, and people had like really good ideas, and mine, like, I remember on my paper it was so detailed, like, because I have been thinking about this since 7th grade. Every time I would go into a cafe in high school and stuff, I would take notes of like what I liked about the cafe, what I didn't like, the flow, if it was good or not, what customers seemed to think was uncomfortable and awkward, and just taking notes of like how well the business worked every time I went to a new cafe. So I had like a notebook of all these notes of how I wanted my business to be run and blah 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 blah. So it was super detailed, but I had let the dream die because I didn't think I could do it, and I was too insecure to pursue that. And I remember they asked us to just write down our dream, our biggest dream, and like, basically, if you had no fear, what would you pursue? And so I wrote down that dream, and it was super specific. And I just remember like someone was telling me, while I was telling them about my dream, they were like, I have never heard you get this excited about anything. And I'm like, that's kind of sad, but I guess that's true. And they're like, why would you not want to pursue something that you're so passionate about? Like, the thing that you're going to do for the rest of your life, you should be so passionate about it and interested in doing it. And I would tell them like, I'm going to go to school for counseling when I get home, just because I'd be good at it. Not because I wanted to do it, but I would just be good at it. But when I would talk about this other dream, like I would get so excited and I had all these ideas and plans and I could just work on it for hours because it's fun for me, because it's my dream. Like, you can imagine if you think of your biggest dream that you want to pursue, you might be too scared to do it, but when you think about it, doesn't it make you excited? So like, doesn't that make you just want to go after it? And I just feel like if you don't, you're always going to wonder like, what if I did? And that's kind of just, my mind just started to shift, and I felt like I was like, you know what, like I'm not gonna just go to school for something that I'm not passionate about. Like, that's a lot of money for one. And so I basically decided, I just realized this is at like 10 minutes and I have so much more to share. Okay, so basically YWAM was like, the biggest thing I took away from YWAM was me, like my dream was alive again in me, and I was like, I'm gonna pursue that. Like, I'm gonna go after that because there's a reason God put this on my heart and it seems impossible.